Let me welcome James Peet. Should have gone to your slide.
Right.
There you go.
Hi everybody online and hi everybody in the room. My name's James Peet. I'm the Chief Digital Officer for Moreton Bay. Thanks to Noosa Council for putting this event on. I think it's just excellent for us in this local area to be able to get together, but also to share that via Zoom with all sorts of others. So today I wanted to talk with you about our journey so far. I'd like to also thank Steph, who's joining us today, who's in the team. There he is. And in our small team, which is myself and Steph, run the Smart Cities at Moreton Bay. But also Michael Werrett from Sunny Coast that just presented. Michael and I have worked together and collaborated over a number of years, and Michael, you're sort of have been quite inspirational for our journey, so thank you. So I'm going to talk today just about our journey so far. I want to concentrate on, I guess, where we are today, and I think where we need to head. So I'll just sort of lay the groundwork first of all. And if I press this button, excellent. So the way we do, I guess, smart cities at Moreton Bay, we don't actually have a smart cities strategy per se. But what we have is these 5 strategic pillars that run the whole organisation, and I participate in a group where we look horizontally across all of these pillars to understand where are all of the, I guess, the digital points, where are all the things where digital can benefit and enable these strategies, and so we have quite a broad, I guess, scope of what we're looking at. Now we know that smart cities are enabled by the Internet of Things, and what I wanted to do is just quickly run through, I guess, where we're seeing that. So first of all, the things, and this looks very familiar, doesn't it, to what Michael just presented, but I'm assure you I didn't pinch it. Just happens to be true. So things collect data. The data needs to be transferred, connected. We need to store and analyse the data, and then in order to make things better. Making things better, that's something I learnt from Adam Beck. It's a great way of just expressing what we're all about and how smart cities can take us. So firstly, things. There's a thing. That's a NetVox temperature sensor in captivity on the desk, and when I press the button, nothing happens. Third time lucky. Here we go. Here it is again. It's actually installed, and anyone with an eagle eye will might see that it's actually installed incorrectly, and I'll let the mesh crew tell me how that is. We've got, did I just miss one? No, I didn't. Okay, smart lights. Press the button. Smart parking. Sorry, this wasn't supposed to be quite so slow, but there we go. Here we go. That's a camera that's attached to our e-bike that's ridden around all of our footpaths and automatically picks up all of the footpath defects. It's the same camera that we're running in our garbage trucks as well to capture all of our road defects. Smart Barbies. We've got various smart sensors of different kinds in our inner hub. Smart poles at Peet Mill. Water quality monitoring systems at Capestone Lake. And there's many more. So what happens then? So you need to connect those sensors, typically wirelessly, but not always, so that you can bring all of that data into mission control. So we've got a few different IoT networks in our region. We've got Sigfox, which is the top right coverage map there. On the left-hand side is the current state of our LoRaWAN network, and the bottom right image is a LoRaWAN gateway. And we're probably pushing LoRaWAN out quite a lot at the moment as it supports various projects that we're working on. Also across our region is NB-IoT, which is being deployed by the telcos as we go along. So also, it's not just wireless, and we're looking at how we can use or how council can start to assist digital connectivity across our region by building our own pit and pipe network. So that's the pit and pipe network at Petrie Mill, and that's a photo of it at Petrie Mill. It's not very exciting, it's just under the ground, but it's actually incredibly important that we consider also fixed connectivity and how council plays a part there as well. And then you've got all of these devices, you've got gateways, you've got networks. So now we're at a point where we have about 700 devices in the field. And with all of those devices, they're all sending data in our direction. How do we deal with that? How do we get benefit from it? How do we make things better for the community? So storage and analysis. So what you see there is one example of one sensor at a moment in time. That's a payload. And that particular sensor is actually one of the movement sensors on our smart lighting network along the Moreton Bay Rail Link, and it's telling you that somebody's walked past that sensor. There's a lot of data in there, and that particular sensor, I think it reports in every couple of minutes. You've got other sensors that might be every couple of hours, you've got other sensors every couple of seconds. There's an avalanche of data heading in our direction, and so how do we deal with that? This is how we deal with that. This is our Smart City Data Platform. That's a picture of the components that make up the platform. But it's a couple of the important things to note in this particular diagram. The light green on the top left, that's ingestion. That's where we're actually taking data from the sensors as it arrives through different methods. There's lots of different ways data arrives, and we need to account for those ways. Now, that data ends up in our data lake. But also on the top right, that blue area, there are our systems of record. So we use Technology One, we use Esri, and we also have a number of other systems such as Tritium Niagara for our building management and a few other things like that. So it's very important that we position this right beside everything else so that we can integrate with everything else. So putting it all together, how do we make things better? Now, I like this particular quote. It's been around for donkeys, but really it describes quite easily what's happening certainly inside Moreton Bay, where there's different teams are innovating in different ways, and we're seeing some really amazing things, and other teams aren't. But then you multiply that across, say, all councils in Queensland, Australia and around the world, where you've got lots of different things going on that are really solving problems well in one area, but another council who has the same problem, they just aren't solving that problem. So there is an unevenness, and so how do we get it more evenly distributed? So what we're looking at is, well, where are we and where do we need to go? So I did this self-assessment of our progress. In terms of things and connectivity, we're going okay. In terms of storage and analysis, I've got that sitting at about 40%. Steph reckons it's higher than that. I tried to change it, couldn't make it change. So my PowerPoint skills clearly need improving as well. And then making things better. We have moved on a little bit since I did this particular slide, but that helps us understand, well, where we need to look. Now, this is a framework. There's lots of frameworks around. The reason why I like this particular one, and I found this one last week whilst Googling, as we all do, but what it does is it really helps articulate our current thinking about where we need to head. It's all about analytics, and you've got three categories. You've got hindsight, insight and foresight. So I just wanted to run through, I guess, some of the examples of that and where we need to move on. So examples of hindsight, of course, anything that's historical. So this is the water quality monitoring system that you saw on the photograph earlier of Capestone Lake, and that's a dashboard. Another dashboard is John Scott Park, where we've got lots of different devices coming in from the park, and it's helping our Parks and Rec team and also our operational teams to manage the park better. It's not a particularly exciting dashboard, it's just giving you graphs of stuff, but we actually want to use it a lot better than that. Another one is the dashboard that Enerhub are providing to us as part of our Petrie Mill implementation of their smart infrastructure. Again, hindsight. Then we move to insight. Now, I guess there's a couple of examples. From an operational perspective, when is a thing true or false? So in this case, when is, and that graphic on the right is our water tank measurement system. When do people congregate, or where do people congregate in our parks and our libraries? So getting insights around really what's going on. Technical insights. In fact, that's talking more about the way we are doing our smart city projects. By doing small projects, we get insight as to how that project can assist us. We're doing these projects and developing business cases through the course of that project to further scale things up. And then commercial insights, understanding, well, what is the value of what we're getting when we go and spend X number of dollars on a parking sensor, for example. We don't actually charge for parking in the Moreton Bay region. We just, book people when they overstay their welcome occasionally. So we actually don't have much of a business model around parking control systems, because we're not making a huge amount of money out of parking. So anyway, I won't dwell on that, but certainly we want data from our parking systems as opposed to, I guess, revenue generation, and what's the value of that data. So planning insights, and longitudinal data is a really important thing. So no more are we sitting in a park with a clipboard occasionally. We're now getting longitudinal data every couple of minutes. It's telling us what's going on. So we get to see patterns of seasonality, outlying events, and start to do predictions of what will happen in the future. And then organisational insights, as you've seen, dashboards showing what's possible, and then gradually understanding that there's things that maybe we knew, but actually the dashboard's telling us that we don't know. And also finding out things we didn't know at all. So there's interesting things there. But now we get on to foresight, and I think this is the important one and the most exciting one, because this is where we're starting to impact in real time or predict what's going to happen in the future. So what you're seeing there is our a business rules engine. Well, it's actually not the engine. It's a picture that describes what that engine does. And as you can see, we're looking at the water quality, we're looking at the tide, we're looking at the weather, and from that we're determining what potentially could be happening. And then we're saying, turn on the pump. So we're going back out into the field and making a change to change what the future was going to be. The future was going to be a fish kill, but now we're able to say, hang on a tick, in 24 hours, the likelihood is there's going to be a fish kill. Let's turn the aeration pumps on and deal with the risk that's presenting. Another one here is another rules engine for our smart lighting system along the Moreton Bay Rail Link that ARCs have provided to us. And it's simply saying when somebody walks past a light, make it bright, 5 minutes later, dim it back down again. So these are things where we're starting to actually impact on back in the environment in positive ways. So how do we really move on, and how do we get to that? Because there's a lot of those kinds of ideas, but really starting to scale them up and make them happen is all about data leadership and culture within our organisation. And that's a lot of work that Steph is doing in the team, is really starting to advocate the use of a smart city mindset in solving council problems. So building a culture and connecting across the organisation to help everyone understand that there is a different way of looking at this to solve the problems that we've always needed to solve. Looking beyond just efficiency, but also look towards outcomes. It's not just about saving money on everything, it's about being able to provide a better service, potentially with no external, no extra expenditure. But also, are we asking the right questions? So rather than looking for answers, the data is helping us to say, actually, there's other questions that we could be asking here. And then collaboration. We're really learning that the silo mentality kills innovation. Collaboration makes innovation happen. So we're doing a lot of work in that space as well. And all of it so that we can make things better for the community. So that's sort of where we're at. I think that's my last slide. It is. So thanks everybody for your attendance and attention, and I'll hand it over to the next person.
Thanks, James. Awesome. Cheers. Thanks so much.